Good to go. Trish, Foghorn. Larry, you're muted.
All right. Welcome. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Lppbbsg Primary Purpose Big Book Study Group. Our study follows a 96-week cycle that begins on the title page and continues through page 164. We study spiritual experience in Appendix 2 3 times when the asterisk refers us there. We also study Dr. Bob's Nightmare and the 12 Traditions. We close our study on week 96 by studying spiritual experience as a stand-alone meeting. Our meeting began January 7th on 2020 using this format, and we are grateful you are here to study with us. My name is Larry, and I'm a grateful recovered alcoholic.
And good evening, family. My name's Jamie. Very grateful recovered alcoholic. Glad to have you all with us tonight.
And before we begin, please be aware that the first 90 minutes of this meeting will be recorded in audio only for our website, podcast, and YouTube channels. If you missed the study portion, you can listen to it online. Study pages will also be listed in the chat. Be sure to listen to it online. Be sure to check it out. The information will be posted in the chat throughout the meetings for our other times and meetings. Are there any announcements for the greater good of AA?
Good evening, family. My name is Jamie. Very grateful recovered alcoholic, and we had our group conscience last night. For those of you who are home group members that were not here, it was very good. It was very productive. We had our delegate Heather L. with us last night. As part of it, the minutes will be emailed out to you as soon as they are ready and available. In October, we will have fourth quarter assembly coming up at the UT Space Center from October 9th through the 11th. I've been working on a couple of committees to help us. We're working on taking care of the audio in Area 64 and moving towards doing hybrid as well. So that's all I got for you for now, unless Tricia has something.
I got nothing.
All right. Tonight's recap page will start on page 93 with the words "when dealing with," and will end on page 95. We'll do anything to help, and it will be read by Donald tonight. And tonight's study page will be our start on page 95, starting with the words "if he is not interested," and it will end on page 97 with the words "serious complications in a family," and it will be read by Tanya tonight.
Okay, it's up to me. Please take a moment to settle in and get comfortable. We take our big book study seriously, and we want everyone to feel present and connected as we begin. In a moment, we will have a 3-minute meditation followed by our family's foglight prayer. As we move into the study, please help us maintain a peaceful environment. Please be mindful of background noise when you are unmuted. If you wouldn't do it in a live meeting, please don't do it here on Zoom. Also, please stay muted during someone else's share. We will call on hands in the order that they are raised.
From the forward to the first edition of Alcoholics Anonymous, we of Alcoholics Anonymous are many thousands of men and women who have recovered from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body, to show other alcoholics precisely how we have recovered is the main purpose of this book and of this group. For the meditation, focus on your breath and posture. Breathe in God and breathe out self. Take this time to reconnect with God and release the day.
And let's invite those monks in. Enjoy your time with God, folks. And welcome back, everyone. On your screen in front of you, you should see our family's foglight prayer. Please join us in it for those of you who wish. God, let your love shine through us like a foglight, so that those that are lost, sick, and dying can find your love through us. Amen. And now let's have our secretary's report. Come on in, Joanne.
Good evening, family. My name is Joanne, and I'm an alcoholic. I'm your recovering alcoholic secretary. I have asked Kenny. I have asked Kenny to read the recovery statement to explain why many in this group identify as recovered. Come on, Kenny.
Okay, Kenny, alcoholic, recovered. We are not cured of alcoholism.
It should be on the screen. Wait 1 minute.
It's kind of too small.
Yeah,
Okay.
there. Is that better? Turn yours.
Yes, that's better.
Okay.
We are not cured of alcoholism. Recovered but not cured, that presents a conflict to some alcoholics. If we were cured, we would be able to drink responsibly. No, we are not cured. The allergic reaction to alcohol will remain with us for a lifetime, but we have been restored to sanity. That was the problem. The main problem of the alcoholic centers in his mind rather than in his body. Page 23. We are now sane where alcohol is concerned. Consequently, we have recovered. Thank you.
And thank you. And we meet every Tuesday night. We meet every Tuesday night at 5:30 p.m. CT time, Central Time, for fellowship before the meeting. Our big book study began properly at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. During the study, chat will be disabled. From the forward to the second edition, page 20 to XX, of alcoholic who came to AA and really tried. 50% got sober at once and remained that way. 25% showed up after some relapse, and the remainder, those who stayed on with AA, showed improvement. Could we have a show of hands of people joining us for the first time, please?
We have a couple of people, my friends Gail and Tim. Welcome. Good to see you with us. Is there anybody else that's joining us for the first time? I think maybe Julie, and Susan. Oh no, I see.
Yeah.
Hi, Susan.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Susan. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic. Thank you so much, Tanya, for leading me to this amazing meeting. Thank you guys for having me. My sobriety date is March 22nd, 1992. So glad to be here with you.
And thank you, Susan. Glad that you are here with us.
Me too.
I'm Julie. I am an alcoholic, and Tanya's led me to this meeting. This is my third time, and I keep coming back. It works.
And,
Hi, everybody.
and thank you. We're glad that you kept coming back and come back again with us. Anyone else? All right then. Okay, now, is anyone celebrating a milestone this week? All right. We all have to keep coming back for that one then.
I think you missed a sentence. The hands of the recovered alcoholics.
You're right. You're right. You're right. Let me go back. And the recovering alcoholics. These are your potential sponsors. Okay. Stephanie have her hand up. Oh, okay. Yeah, we raised our hand. Okay, I can raise my hand too. Thank you. Thank you. All right, we good to go. Now, is anyone celebrating a milestone this week? Okay, Donna got his hand up. Come on, Donna.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Donald, aka Gandalf, the former Gandalf the Red Pickle, but I'm still a Red Pickle, and I'm very grateful. Recovered alcoholic, celebrating 4321 today.
Okay.
4,321. It's just an odd number and stuff, so it doesn't happen very often. So it only happens once in 4,321 days. So
It's the only time it'll ever happen.
Thank you. Anyone else celebrate? For the milestone of this week? All right, then we all keep coming back, baby. Okay, now, if you need a big book, we can send you a large print copy. Please let the co-hold know by chat after the meeting. Now, please practice self-condition. Use the link in the chat and it's on the screen. We encourage you to get a big book and work with an anti-alcoholic to take them through the program of recovery. Thank you, and I'll see you next week for the reading.
Thank you so much for your service tonight, Joanne and Kenny, and welcome to everyone. We are grateful to have you. From There Is a Solution, the tremendous fact for every one of us is that we have discovered a common solution. We have a way out on which we can absolutely agree and on which we can join in brotherly and harmonious action. This is the great news this book carries to those who suffer from alcoholism. This is an open meeting and everyone is welcome. You are not required to identify yourself if you don't want to. Your anonymity will be protected, and we ask that you protect ours also. For our group is for those who want to recover from alcoholism and have a desire to stop drinking for good and all. Each member of Alcoholics Anonymous is a potential sponsor of a new member and should clearly recognize the obligations and duties of such a responsibility.
And now it's time for our traditions. Before we began our study of the Big Book last week, we reviewed Tradition 7. Tonight, let's take a quick look at Tradition 8. Please refer to page 562 of Alcoholics Anonymous. Come in, Lisa.
Hi everyone, I'm Lisa. I'm an alcoholic and I am your traditionalist tonight. And we are on Tradition 8, page 562. Alcoholics Anonymous should remain forever non-professional, but our service centers may employ special workers. Short poem and the long poem. Alcoholics Anonymous should remain forever non-professional. We define professionalism as the occupation of counseling alcoholics for fees or hire. But we may employ alcoholics where they are going to perform those services for which we might otherwise have to engage non-alcoholics. Such special services may be well recompensed, but our usual AA 12-step work is never to be paid for. And a little bit of history. A minute. Early experiments in the 1940s, AA members debated whether founders or early organizers should profit from the movement or receive salaries for full-time work. The royalty debate. A 1942 controversy arose when members realized Bill W. and Dr. Bob received royalties from big book sales. Counsel from advisors like Father Ed Dowling helped clarify that while 12-step work cannot be paid, compensation for specialized administrative or publishing services was distinct and acceptable. The rule was formalized in the late 1940s and published in the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions to protect the group's spiritual foundation from commercialization. And I found a couple other things that I liked. You want? And it is not coming up.
Lost her.
Is she gone?
I
think so. I don't see her.
All right. Well, we'll move on.
Hang on one second, Larry. Let me get back to the right screen. For some reason, there. Okay. Okay.
Right.
Well, hey, thanks, Lisa. Okay. And oh, you still have that in the book. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes. It's time now for that ain't in the book, and we sometimes hear things in the meeting that can't be reconciled with what is in the big book. The topic tonight is if all I do is stay sober today, then it's been a good day. Terry, pickle chips? Let's
Yeah.
hear what the book has to say on page 82 of paragraph 4.
Okay. It says, we feel a man is unthinking when he says that sobriety is enough.
Thank you, Terry. Appreciate your service.
Please be sure to use your pens, highlighters, and rulers as we study. We use the Big Book Study Guide prepared by Joe and Charlie and Krusty Cliff of the Dallas Primary Purpose Group to stay focused and consistent. We read the material once through and then dissect it through the question and answer format. After tonight's study is read, we will ask the questions from the imaginary podium. The answers will be one sentence unless otherwise specified, and multi-part questions are simply a one-sentence answer split up by commas, semicolons, hyphens, and other fun bits of punctuation. This helps us understand and apply the content clearly.
After the study, we open the meeting for comments and questions based on the pages that have just been read. Our purpose here is to stay in the book and let the message do the work. If a share drifts into something better handled with the sponsor, we'll kindly point you in that way.
You can never go wrong by commenting on the pages studied, which brings us to the words of one of the co-founders of Alcoholics Anonymous. Sobriety, freedom from alcohol, through the teaching and practice of the 12 steps, is the sole purpose of any Alcoholics Anonymous group.
All right. Right before Donald begins to read, or as he starts to read, I'm going to need 5 or 6 volunteers to read answers tonight. So if you'll put up your imaginary hands, I will put them down as you call. So Donald, would you like to start us up with the recap?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. My name is Donald, and I'm a very grateful, recovered, but not cured alcoholic. And starting on page 93, 94, when dealing with such a person. When dealing with such a person, you had used everyday language. You had better use everyday language to describe spiritual principles. There is no use arousing any prejudice he may have against certain theological terms and concepts about which he may already be confused. Don't raise such issues, no matter what your own convictions are. Your prospect may belong to a religious denomination. His religious education and training may be far superior to yours. In that case, he is going to wonder how you can add anything to what he already knows. But he will be curious to learn why his own convictions have not worked and why yours seems to work so well. He may be an example of the truth that faith alone is insufficient. To be vital, faith must be.
Lost my book.
Thank you. To be vital, faith must be accompanied by self-sacrifice and unselfish constructive action. Let him see that you are not there to instruct him in religion. Admit that he probably knows more about it than you do, but call to his attention the fact that, however deep his faith and knowledge, he could not have applied it, or he would not drink. Perhaps your story will help him see where he has failed to practice the very precepts he knows so well. We represent no particular faith or denomination. We are dealing only with the general principles common to most denominations. Outline the program of action, explaining how you made a self-appraisal, how you straightened out your past, and why you are now endeavoring to be helpful to him. It is important for him to realize that your attempt to pass this on to him plays a vital part in your own recovery. Actually, he may be helping you more than you are helping him. Make it plain he is under no obligation to you, that you hope only that he will try to help other alcoholics whenever he escapes his own difficulties. Suggest how important it is that he place the welfare of other people ahead of his own. Make it clear that he is not under not under pressure, that he needn't see you again if he doesn't want to. You should not be offended if he calls, or if he wants to call it off, for he has helped you more than you have helped him. If your talk has been sane, quiet, and full of human understanding, you have perhaps made a friend. Maybe you have disturbed him about the question of alcoholism. This is all to the good. The more hopeless he feels, the better. He will be more likely to follow your suggestions. Your candidate may give reasons why he need not follow all of the program. He may rebel at the thought of a drastic house cleaning, which requires discussion with other people. Do not contradict such views. Tell him you once felt as he did, but you doubt whether you would have made much progress had you not taken action. On your first visit, tell him about the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous. If he shows interest, lend him your copy of the book. Unless your friend wants to talk further about himself, do not wear out your welcome. Give him a chance to think it over. If you do stay, let him steer the conversation in any direction he likes. Sometimes a new man is anxious to proceed at once, and you may be tempted to let him do so. This is sometimes a mistake. If he has trouble later, he is likely to say you rushed him. You will be most successful when alcoholics if you do not exhibit any passion for crusade or reform. Never talk down to an alcoholic from any moral or spiritual high top. Simply lay out the kit of spiritual tools for his inspection. Show him how they worked for you, with you. Offer him friendship and fellowship. Tell him that if he wants to get well, you will do anything to help. Thank you for letting me be of service.
Thank you, Donald. And before Tanya reads our study portion, I could use a couple more hands raised for our answer readers. Tanya, you want to start reading our study?
Thank you, Larry, so much. Good evening, Tanya Alcoholic, and here's our study portion. If he's not interested in your solution, if he expects you to act only as a banker for his financial difficulties or a nurse for his sprees, you may have to drop him until he changes his mind. This he may do after he gets hurt some more. If he is sincerely interested and wants to see you again, ask him to read this book in the interval. After doing that, he must decide for himself whether he wants to go on. He should not be pushed or prodded by you, his wife, or his friends. If he is to find God, the desire must come from within. If he thinks he can do the job in some other way or prefers some other spiritual approach, encourage him to follow his own conscience. We have no monopoly on God. We merely have an approach that works with us, but point out that we alcoholics have much in common and that you would like, in any case, to be friendly. Let it go at that. Do not be discouraged if your prospect does not respond at once. Search out another alcoholic and try again. You're sure to find someone desperate enough to accept with eagerness what you offer. We find it a waste of time to keep chasing a man who cannot or will not work with you. If you leave such a person alone, he may soon become convinced that he cannot recover by himself. To spend too much time on any one situation is to deny some of other alcoholic an opportunity to live and be happy. One of our fellowship failed entirely with his first half-dozen prospects. He often says that if he had continued to work on them, he might have deprived many others who have since recovered of their chance. Suppose now you are making your second visit to a man. He has read this volume and says he's prepared to go through with the 12 steps of the program of recovery. Having had the experience yourself, you can give him much practical advice. Let him know you are available if he wishes to make a decision and tell his story, but do not insist upon it if he prefers to consult someone else. He may be broke and homeless. If he is, you might try to help him about getting a job or give him a little financial assistance. But you should not deprive your family or creditors of money they should have. Perhaps you will want to take the man into your home for a few days. But be sure you use discretion. Be certain he will be welcomed by your family and that he is not trying to impose upon you for money, connections, or shelter. Permit that, and you only harm him. You will be making it possible for him to be insincere. You may be aiding in his destruction rather than his recovery. Never avoid these responsibilities, but be sure you are doing the right thing if you assume them. Helping others is the foundation stone of your recovery. A kindly act once in a while is not enough. You have to act the God Samaritan every day if need be. It may mean the loss of many nights' sleep, great interference with your pleasures, interruptions to your business. It may mean sharing your money and your home, canceling frantic wives and relatives, innumerable trips to police courts, sanitariums, hospitals, jails, and asylums. Your telephone may jingle any time of the day or night. Your wife may sometimes say she is neglected. A drunk may smash the furniture in your home or burn a mattress. You may have to fight with him if he's violent. Sometimes you will have to call a doctor or administer sedatives under his direction. Another time you may have to send for the police or an ambulance. Occasionally you will have to meet such conditions. We seldom allow an alcoholic to live in our homes for a long at a time. It is not good for him, and it sometimes creates serious complications in a family. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tanya. Okay, I wanna thank all of our readers tonight, and I could use one more hand if somebody would like to volunteer. Kenny, do you still have your hand up? I don't see it on the screen, but you're blacked out. You did have it up at the beginning.
Yes, I'm picking it up again.
Okay, all right. Thank you. All right. Right now, I have the batting order as Kenny, William, Stephanie, Lisa, and Terry. So, for our answer readers, speak clearly, follow the text sentence by sentence. If you lose your place, you may pass or allow the question reader, which is me, to guide you to where you are. So, let's begin. Kenny, for the first question. If they are not interested in our program of recovery, what should we do?
Okay, I'm trying to find the beginning. Can you help me out?
If he is not interested in your solution.
Page 95, Kenny.
95.
Thank you. Okay, if he's not interested in your solution, if he expects you to act only as a banker for his financial difficulties or a nurse for his sprees, you may have to drop him until he changes his mind.
Thank you. And William, your question, what may happen if we do and why?
This he may do after he gets hurt somewhere.
And Stephanie, if they appear to be sincere, what do we ask them to do?
If he is sincerely interested and wants to see you again, ask him to read this book in the interval.
Lisa, your question, after doing this, what must they do?
After doing that, he must decide for himself whether he wants to go on.
Pickle chips, by all means, what should not be done?
He should not be pushed or prodded by you, his wife, or his friends.
And back to you, Kenny. To be successful in our program, what must happen within the prospect?
If he is to find God, the desire must come from within.
Yes. And William, what do we do if they think there is a better way?
If you think he can do the job in some other way, or prefer some other spiritual approach, encourage him to follow his own conscience.
And Stephanie, do we have the only path of recovery?
We have no monopoly on God. We merely have an approach that worked with us.
Yes. And Lisa, what should we point out to the alcoholic?
But point out that we alcoholics have much in common and that you would like, in any case, to be friendly.
And Terry, what do we do then?
Let it go at that.
Yes. And on page 96, back to you, Kenny. Should we be discouraged if they don't buy our program?
Do not be discouraged if your prospect does not respond at once.
And William, what should we do?
Search out for another alcoholic. Try it again.
And I'll be
Be sure
coming
to
in.
find something.
That
I'm sorry.
nope, that's it, William. And I'll be coming in with the first of a few comments as well. Where did we get the idea that we are to sit in meetings and wait for them to show up? Let's go out and do some 12-step work, folks.
William, if we, am I on William?
Nope.
No, you're not on me.
No,
You did me already.
Stephanie, if you do, what will happen?
You are sure to find someone desperate enough to accept with eagerness what you have to offer. What you offer.
Lisa, how do some of us waste our time?
We find it a waste of time to keep chasing a man who cannot or will not work with you.
And Terry, if you leave such a, oh, excuse me, if we leave the slipper alone, what may happen?
If you leave such a person alone, he may soon become convinced that he cannot recover by himself.
Back to you, Kenny. Why should we not spend too much time on one who will not follow directions?
To spend too much time on any one situation is to then deny others, alcoholics, the opportunity to live and be happy.
And William, was one of our fellowship lucky at 12th stepping efforts early on?
One of our fellowship failed entirely with his first half dozen prospect.
And another comment, that person was our co-founder, Bill W. himself.
And Stephanie, what did he say would happen if he had kept wasting his time?
He often says that if he had continued to work on them, he might have deprived many others who have since recovered of their chance.
And Lisa, you got a two-part question, two sentences. A, we are now going to make our second visit to our prospect. What have they done? And B, what are they ready to do?
Suppose now you are making your second visit to a man. He has read this volume and says he is prepared to go through with the 12 steps of the program of recovery.
And yet another comment, where on the earth did we come up with don't drink and go to meetings, you'll be okay? Or worse yet, go to 90 meetings in 90 days. The authors of this basic text were in their early sobriety, took the steps and recovered. They did not sit around and talk about them.
Yes. And Terry, why can you give your protege advice?
Having had the experience yourself, you could give him much practical advice.
And another comment, note, while the big book is based on the experience and knowledge of its authors, we are now told that a sponsor should give his protege advice based on his experience and knowledge. Only a person's sponsor has the privilege and responsibility to give advice. All others should limit their conversations to their own experience, strength, and hope.
Protege. That's how you say that word.
Yep.
Okay. We're back to Kenny. a two-parter, Kenny. One sentence. A, do you let them know that you are available to help them if they are ready to take these steps? And B, what if they want to work with someone else?
Let him know you are available if he wishes to make a decision and tell his story. But do not insist upon it if he prefers to consult someone else.
And another comment, if we are dealing with a real alcoholic and have carefully followed the directions to this point, the prospect has already taken steps 1 and 2 as a result of your helping this person understand the exact nature of step 1. And since you have recovered, you have given them the hope of step 2. This is exactly what Bill W. did and was able to do for Dr. Bob on the evening of May 12th, 1935.
William, what if your prospect is broke or homeless? 2 sentences.
He may be broke or homeless. If he is, you might try to help him about getting a job or giving him a little money at your system.
Yes. Stephanie, but we should not do what?
But you should not deprive your family or creditors of money they should have.
Yes. And Lisa, we might be willing to do what?
Perhaps you will want to take the man into your home for a few days, but be sure you use discretion.
That was the next question. That's Terry. But be sure to do what?
But be sure to use discretion.
That's right. That's right. Kenny, be certain of what? 2 very important considerations.
Be certain he will be welcomed by your family and that he is not trying to impose upon you for money, connections, or shelter.
Mm-hmm. And William, how can we hurt his chances?
Permit that, and you only harm him.
Stephanie, we can make it possible for what?
You will be making it possible for him to be insincere.
All right. And Lisa, top page 97, if we provide too much physical and or material help to the newcomer, it may do what?
You may be aiding in his destruction rather than his recovery.
And Terry, pickle chips. If we do provide material support, be sure of what?
To never avoid these responsibilities, but be sure you are doing the right thing if you assume them.
Yes. And Kenny, why are we so anxious to help others?
Helping others is the foundation stone of your recovery.
Can't keep what you don't give away. William, will helping only occasionally do it?
Once in a while, it's not enough.
Stephanie, how often should we be willing to help others?
You have to act the Good Samaritan every day if need be.
And Lisa, what inconveniences might this oppose on us? Read the rest of the paragraph.
It may mean the loss of many nights' sleep, great interference with your pleasures, interruptions to your business. It may mean sharing your money and your home, counseling frantic wives and relatives, innumerable trips to police courts, sanitariums, hospitals, jails, and asylums. Your telephone may jangle at any time of the day or night. Your wife may sometimes say she is neglected. A drunk may smash the furniture in your home or burn a mattress. You may have to fight with him if he is violent. Sometimes you will have to call a doctor and administer sedatives under his direction. Another time you may have to send for the police or ambulance. Occasionally you will have to meet such conditions.
All right, Terry. What do we seldom do for the alcoholic?
We seldom allow an alcoholic to live in our homes for long at a time.
Mm-hmm. And Kenny, you get the last question of the evening. What 2 reasons are stated for this?
It is not good for him, and it sometimes creates serious complications in the family.
All right.
Good job, everybody. Thank you.
Good job. Thank you for all of our readers tonight. Now, if you have experience in the pages that have been read tonight, please feel free to share. Please stay on topic and be mindful of the time. There will be a 5-minute timer that will be on the top of the screen. A friendly reminder, absence of profanity offends no one in this meeting. We are now open for comments, questions, observations, and spiritual experience based on this study material.
It's the dental chair tonight.
Yeah,
William's going to give it a shot.
William.
Yeah, I got a wisdom tooth. It hurt. My name is William Alcoholic. It's so amazing, man. God always provide what you need whenever you need it, you know. And I too, a newcomer, came up to me and approached me, and he loved the fellowship. He loved the meeting and things like that, you know. But and so his thing is that he's 6 or 7 days he stopped drinking, so he seen what alcohol was doing to him, but he don't want to stop smoking weed, you know. And I thank God all these questions answer what I was trying to say. So still be friendly, don't bother him or do anything like that, you know. So he was, and I tried to show him. I did everything. I did everything in my mind that I could do to point out to him that it wasn't. First of all, I told him if you want to smoke it, go to the doctor, get some kind of prescription, and get them tell you. He said, no, they don't. They won't do that for you. And the next thing I try to tell him, you know, what to say. He says it's legal. And then I try to tell him about prohibition. Alcohol was legal. It was doing so much damage to people back in those days, man. You know what I mean? So it's just an ongoing thing, you know. And the other thing, he was talking about financial support. You know what I mean? Well, he told me he would jump in the buses and the turnstiles, you know. And if you do that, they can lock you up. You get tickets and stuff. So I bought him a Metro card. So I try to show him if you wasn't buying that reefer, you'll be able to take care of some other your responsibility. But somewhere it doesn't seem. He said, I can't do that. I can't do that. So I just have to be his friend and continue to show him the friendliness of Alcoholics Anonymous that showed me to help other people. But definitely helping me by what it is. And God always sending people to me who were just like me. Feel like a person won't figure those of Alcoholics Anonymous. But I'm grateful that I be here and I'm sober today, and I have some experience, that I can share with other people. Because definitely, as it was in when Bill first got sober, it's still a pandemic out there, and alcohol. And I even tried to tell him, I said, you just switching seats on the Titanic. He didn't understand that, but he said he could. It's too far, he can't let it go. So I just have to let be a friend of his and stuff. Because at a certain point of time, we get them to our group. If he got 90 days sober, he would speak at the group and stuff. So I don't know if I could, he could speak 90 days off alcohol and it's still smoking, because to be sober is to be absent from all move on to suffering, So I have to understand that, and if he's not ready, I have to just be a friend of his and continue to do my recovery, and learn from this situation. Learn from what I have seen and what's going on, So I'm grateful to be an Alcoholics Anonymous. But what we read answered every question that I was for me to continue to accept his reality and go on with my reality. So thank you so much.
Thank you, William. Someone else had any experience with sponsorship, 12-step, difficult sponsorship?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Donald, and I am very grateful recovered but not cured alcoholic. This last Friday, I got a phone call from a friend of mine letting me know that one of my sponsees' father had found him, passed away. And this gentleman, the last time I talked to him, was going into rehab the next day. And I said, give me a call as soon as you get out, and we'll continue with your step study. I says, but take your big book with you. They're not going to say, no, you can't, because I know the program over there, and I do go over and do H&I on occasions. And so anyway, come to find out and stuff, I don't know for sure what the details are, but I do know that he also had mental health issues, and he was dealing with that. But that still doesn't, make it any easier whenever something like this happens. In my last 3 years of working H&I and going to rehabs for that purpose, I've known of 7 people now in 3 years that has happened to. And it's devastating. 3 of the guys I worked with. And sometimes I even wonder, was it because of me that they took their life? Was I doing it wrong? But no, I know that it wasn't because of me. I know that it's the disease. And I know that whatever happens in their life has to be their way, or not their way, but their lot in life. We do a lot of things to ourselves, and it happens. And like the big book says and stuff, you know, whenever you find somebody that's not receptive, don't waste your time on them. Move on to somebody who is receptive, that wants a change. And it keeps me going. And the reason why I had my phone off and stuff, I had a phone call and stuff while I was trying to finish. And, you know, tonight's study portion. And it's nice to be on the committee and volunteer to help other people. I've been getting more and more involved with AA. I've been, you know, with the last night's last night's group conscience. You know, I wish I could have stayed on longer and found out more. But it also makes me want to get more involved in the workings of Alcoholics Anonymous, so that I could be more of a benefit of what I can get back to the program instead of what I can get from it. Because it's already given me everything that I needed stuff. It gave me the freedom. It gave me the you know, from remorse, from guilt, from shame. So I got to give it back. I just got to learn how I can be more effective in what I do. So I'm going to go back and finish reading the rest of it. But I do want to quote one thing and stuff, and I'm sorry if I go over just a little too long and stuff. If he is sincerely interested and wants to see you again, ask him to read the big book in the interval. And that's exactly what I did. And after doing that, he must decide for himself whether he wants to go on. And I had to look at that again today and stuff. It says, you know, change that. After that, he must decide whether he wants to go on living for my last one and stuff. And, you know, it will be missed. I've known him for about 2 years, but he's been in 3 different rehabs, and I know that he was very sick. So, God bless you guys, and have a wonderful evening. Thank you for letting me go over a little bit.
Thanks, Trish.
Hi, everybody. I am Trish, and I am an alcoholic. Let me start the timer on myself. I have had people ask me to be their sponsor with no intent on getting sober. And I realized that while they weren't interested in the solution, they were interested in being able to go to court and tell the judge, yes, I have a sponsor, even though I never heard from them and we never had a conversation. But I believe that the fact that they were in a meeting, they asked me, I was willing to say yes, is still a way of planting seeds. I can't be responsible for if they drink, and I can't be responsible if they get sober. But I can enjoy the journey with them, no matter how long or short it happens to be. And, you know, I've had people who I've worked with who said, well, why can't I do this? And why can't I do that? And it's like, you know, I know how to get sober through the book of Alcoholics Anonymous. There are other ways. If you want to try them, you're welcome to it. But if you do that, I can't help you. You'll need to find somebody who does it that way. And while I won't chase after someone who isn't interested or who is picked up and is drinking, I will reach out to them every now and then. I'm not expecting a big long conversation, and some I'm not expecting that I'm even gonna get a response back. But again, planting seeds of, hey, I'm still here. AA is still here. And just reaching out every now and then to say, hi, I hope you're okay. Not taking a whole lot of time and energy of myself in conversation sometimes, because I don't want to have all that time and energy spent where I could spend it with somebody else who is actively taking the steps. But you know, because I have taken these steps, I've lived these steps, I can share my experience with other people. I can share my experiences of when I was actively in the program, of when I had stepped away from the program and wasn't drinking, and I was miserable, but I wasn't drinking. And the difference it is in my life, the difference I see in my life of when I'm actively working these steps and living these steps. And I always make sure people know I'm available when they want to talk. But I never tell them, because I've seen sponsors, at least in my area, I am the only one you're able to talk to. If you have a problem, you talk to me. You don't call anybody else. It's like, what if they call and I'm on the phone with somebody? What if they call and I don't have signal? What if they call and I'm at work? That could be a death sentence for them. I'm never going to tell somebody, you can only talk to me. I encourage them to get different people they can talk to, so that they have a community of people they can talk to, as long as they're all in sobriety, following these steps, following this program. I have invited people into my home. Some have worked out great. Some were temporary. They knew it was temporary. Some didn't work out so well. But again, planting seeds. And you know, in one case, I did have to call the police and have them removed from the house. But you know, that wasn't by any choice that I made. That wasn't by any action that I made. But I've got to recognize that, you know, if I let someone in the house, there's always that risk. But I can be available to take off work and go to court. And I have been available to take off work and go to court with people. My phone has rung. And people know, if you really need to talk to me, if I'm sleeping in the middle of the night, you might have to hang up and call me back 3 or 4 times in order for it to wake me up. But if you can get me to wake up and hear my phone, I will talk to you. But you know, I can't get anybody sober. That's between them and their God. But I can walk this journey with them. I can show them what I did. And hopefully I can plant some seeds so that they can then find their own God, find their own path, and find their way through this program. Thanks.
Thanks, Trish. All right, are we in the dental chair again?
Grab the pliers, pull the teeth out. I'll come in.
All right, Jamie.
Good evening, family. My name's Jamie, very grateful recovered alcoholic, and good to have all of you with us tonight. It's been a few weeks since I've been able to do this script with everybody due to work and everything. Glad to see some of my friends from Area 64 here. Good to have you with us, and everyone new as well. You know, I love this chapter. I always say it. There's some guidelines that I use for sponsorship. I use Bill's story, the way that he worked with Dr. Bob, the way that Ebby worked with him, the way that they worked together with AA number 3. And by the way, Dr. Bob was only 24 hours sober when he went on that first 12-step call in the hospital with AA number 3, Bill D. And then all in turn, they went and worked with the Devil May Care chap, alcoholic number 4. And you know, it took them well over a year and a half to get 10 people who had recovered. And look at us now. We're in the millions. It's a powerful thing. But you know, I work with lots of people. Lots of people have my phone number and so on. And I love this. If he's not interested in your solution, if he expects you to act only as a banker for his financial difficulties or a nurse for his spree, you may have to drop him until he changes his mind. So here's what my experience is, folks. When I take on someone new, whether they are brand new to Alcoholics Anonymous or whether they have been around 25 years and never had anybody take them through the book. We start at the title page. We go through the preface, the forewords, the doctor's opinion, and the first 43 pages. Because that 51 pages with the doctor's opinion in the first 43 are all about step 1 and help them to discover what alcoholism is to see if they qualify. And when they get to page 44, there's 2 statements that I like to frame in the form of questions. If when I'm drinking, I cannot stop on my own, or I have no control over the amount I take, I am an alcoholic. Okay, step 1 is done at that point. There's no more debating about it. And if that person can say, no, I don't have any control. No, I can't do that. The qualification is there, and it's time to get off the fence and move on with the rest. And yes, because I am recovered from the seemingly hopeless state of mind and body, it does plant the hope of step 2. But we still go through the work if they're willing to continue. Here's the interesting thing about us alcoholics. I don't want to. I can't. Right? And when I'm working with somebody, I take something right out of chapter 5 because I always have this conversation with everybody. It says that there are those who cannot or will not completely give themselves to the simple program. So the question I have with someone at some point in time is I ask them if you are a cannot or a will not. So let me give you an idea of a cannot. A cannot is someone who has such a mental handicap, maybe autism or retardation or something of that nature, that they just absolutely cannot comprehend, process, and follow the action. So what class does that leave most of the rest of us in? Leaves us as will nots. Nope, ain't gonna do it, ain't gonna happen, not gonna believe, not gonna try and change or any of that, right? So most of us are really will nots. Those are honest questions to ask somebody. And I try not to beat anybody up with it. It is just part of the process. I love how it goes on to say in tonight's study, if he thinks he can do the job some other way or prefers some other spiritual approach, encourage him to follow his own conscience. Absolutely, and it's true. We do not have a monopoly on God, but we most certainly have a pathway to God that if you're looking, you will find. The other thing that I love about this is if they want to seek the help of somebody else, I am perfectly fine with that, because here's what I know I don't have the power to do. I don't have the power to get anybody sober, and I don't have the power to get them drunk. That is all within themselves, and God is the power. God is the source. Whatever your God looks like, and it doesn't have to look like mine. The popes, the Mormon bishop, the Baptist minister, the snake shaker. It's just got to be a source of power that will work for the individual. That being said, I have never fired any sponsee. Many have left, some have gone back out and gone drinking. And you know what I do when they call at 3 o'clock in the morning? I am not one of those alcoholics that says, don't call me if you've been drinking. I take those phone calls. And there's a reason that I take those phone calls. And sometimes those phone calls, I'm losing sleep. And sometimes those phone calls last 4 and 5 hours. And we're not talking about sobriety and the book or going to meetings or any of that. I'm just listening and trying to be a friend. And the reason for that is because they won't remember anything that gets talked about the book or any of that. Or I don't bring it up unless they do. But they won't remember any of that. What you know what they will remember? That somebody who is a sober member of Alcoholics Anonymous took the time when they were in extreme emotional pain, took the time out of their life, out of their sleep, to talk to them and to try and help them, right? And we're just there as to listen. And what I like to refer to that as is planting seeds. You know, I am blessed in this program. I have sponsees and grand sponsees in this meeting. Up until a few months ago when my sponsor passed away, there would be nights we'd have 5 generations of sponsorship in this meeting. So the thing that I have to remember the most, and on page 90 in our book, the chapter Working with Others, nothing will ensure one's sobriety so much as intensive work with another alcoholic. And it was said earlier, Donald said it, I no longer come to Alcoholics Anonymous to see what I can get from Alcoholics Anonymous. I come to Alcoholics Anonymous and participate to give when there are opportunities to give. It's entirely up to the individual whether or not they want to receive. And I'll close with this, something that I remember very early in my sobriety. It was a Tuesday night podium in my hometown in California, Lake Elsinore. We call it the Valley of Enlightenment. Some others call it the Valley of the Drunks, but I like the Valley of Enlightenment. And I heard my sponsor speaking from the podium, and the topic happened to be on sponsorship that night. And these were pearls of wisdom that I still hold near and dear to my heart today. He said, the best way I know to find a sponsor is to listen to someone who has what you want and then go ask them how to get it. He did not mean nice clothes, fancy cars, job status, or any of that. He meant that spiritual peace inside. And that's what I look for, and it's what I try and project to others. Sometimes I don't do such a good job of that, and that's just the truth about me, because I still got defects of character. But that's what the type of presence that I want to emulate as I walk through this journey. I will touch on 2 more things real quick. I believe everyone who wants to be sponsored and who wants to sponsor should thoroughly read and study the pamphlet Questions and Answers on Sponsorship, because I hear a lot of bad sponsorship out there in Alcoholics Anonymous. You got to. There is no place in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous where it tells me I get to tell you, you got to. I have not found that page. I've been through this book a number of times. It doesn't exist. So that's what I do with the people that I work with. I also believe it's really so simple. Let me do this. A sponsor is not to tell you what to do, but by example, show you how they walk themselves. A sponsor is the guy or lady who's holding the torch and lighting the pathway for the individual as we walk down these dark, deep caverns of our past and our life to navigate. And when we do that, I don't get to take credit for anybody's sobriety or for anybody getting drunk. I don't get the credit either way. But it is a absolute joy to watch people grow in their journey, to see them come into relationship with their creator, to see them heal broken, damaged relationships with their families. And that is the amazing part of what sponsorship allows me to do. Thanks. Glad you are all here. And I hope you will all come back and join us.
Well, I guess since nobody else is gonna say anything, I'm gonna say something. I'm Larry, and when I think about sponsorship and those that I've sponsored and those that I am not sponsoring today and I have sponsored, I too can say I've never fired a sponsor. I have been fired as a sponsor, but I've never sponsored. I've never actually fired a sponsee. I was, I look back and today, some of those same people, those same sponsees that's fired me, late at night sometimes I'll get a telephone call and I'll see their name. I am not one to just let that call go through. I answer that call. Whether or not they fired me or not, I answer that call and I talk to them. There are some of those people that, that want to hear what I have to say for some reason. They want to hear what the book says to their situation. Whether or not they take the advice of the book, they want to hear. So I plant the seed. I share with them what the book says, and the seed is planted. And I'm hoping eventually some of them get it. And I know some people that I have sponsored has went on to other programs, other kinds of programs. Some more religious type program, and that's okay. That's what floated their boats, and that's what they felt was better for their lives, and I had no problem with that. And some of them have done well in it, and some haven't. But we just have to be there when people call, even when the people that have said that they don't want to hear anymore what we have to say, when they call back, we still have to be kind, considerate, and loving towards them. I have a sponsee today. It's kind of a challenging sponsee to me. I've never had one exactly like this one. He's an atheist, which is fine. I have no problem with him. I am very far from that, and but I'm sharing the program with him, and that's fine because the program works for me and him. But he shared some things to me the other day, and I just I looked at him and he talked about how he hated he was disappointed and how religion had brainwashed him, and the government had brainwashed him, and this one had brainwashed him, and he was disappointed in life, and I could see the pain and the anguish and the suffering that he was in. A war veteran, a war hero. He'd been through 4 wars and been blown up 3 times. And I saw that he has brain trauma, and I saw this pain and suffering in this guy as he shared this with me. And I looked at him and I wasn't sure how I was supposed to respond to him, because I think he said it to shock me. I think he wanted to almost shock me with all that he shared with me at that moment. And I remember looking at him because he was at the door and I was sitting in his chair at his house. And this thought came to me. And I said, and I said his name, and I said, listen, I know and I see the hurt, and I just want you to know one thing. That I love you. And that my higher power loves you. And I put it like that. I could have said God, I could have said anything, but in the way I knew him, I put it like that. I said, my higher power, which I know, and he knows me, he knew what I was talking about. But I said, he loves you. And we care about this hurt. And that's all I said. And I could see his eyes just kind of, and the words that he told me, he said, I guess I could think that you would say nothing less than that. And that's all he said. And he said, thanks. And that was it. That was it. But it's just a crack. I have to get a crack into the hurt, because I've got to get through to a hurting man. He's trying to stay sober. And I see him struggling to stay sober, and that's what I see. I see him struggling to stay sober. So I'm doing everything I can to given the program of Alcoholics Anonymous in his hurt and his pain to stay sober. And so I just got into a crack, into his humanity, into his got into his heart just a little bit. And I think it made a difference. And that's all I got.
Thank you, Larry.
Sorry for running over.
It doesn't matter. We've been known to go 2 hours and 45 minutes. You know, if you gotta go home, go home. It's okay. We won't be mad at you. We'll still invite you back next week. So, you ready for me to read us out here?
Yeah, I don't see any other hands up. Go ahead, Jamie.
No, well, it's because it's because you're not as pushy as Aaron.
No,
Trish, don't wear it. Don't wear it. Okay, from page 164, our book is meant to be suggestive only. We realize we know only a little. God will constantly disclose more to you and to us. Ask Him in your morning meditation what you can do each day for the man who is still sick. The answers will come if your own house is in order. But obviously, you cannot transmit something you haven't got. See to it that your relationship with Him is right, and great events will come to pass for you and countless others. This is a great fact for us. Abandon yourself to God as you understand God. Admit your faults to Him and to your fellows. Clear away the wreckage of your past. Give freely of what you find and join us. We shall be with you in the fellowship of the Spirit, and you will surely meet some of us as you trudge the road of happy destiny. May God bless you and keep you until then. And we got a real special way of closing out around here, folks, because we can't circle up and hold hands like we do in bricks and mortar meetings. We virtually hold our hands up in the screen, and it's just one more way of coming together and being part of one another's experience. So after a moment of silence for those who are still sick and suffering, would you please join me in the Lord's Prayer? Here's your moment. And your hands will get real tired by the time I give you that moment. Here's your moment. Thank you. And who will take us from shame to grace if we let him? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in the heavens. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Thanks. You know, folks, before everybody leaves, I want to say something about the Lord's Prayer. A lot of people in Alcoholics Anonymous get uptight about the Lord's Prayer because they feel that it's a religious prayer. But here's some food for thought. Isn't it really a prayer about relationship? Relationship between me and God, relationship between me and you. That's my perspective on it. So if you struggle with it, just think of it as a prayer of relationship that heals. Thanks. Glad everybody was here. And Gail and Tim, I'm so happy to see you.
Good night, everybody. See you good night.
Good night, William.